to another session of the 2021 Online Student Development Conference. I'm the chair of the Southern African Archaeology Student Council, Mariette Harcombe. With me today are my fellow members of council, Joshua Kumbani and Mpumi Maringa. Hi guys, thank you for tuning in.
Hi.
And our very special guest for today is Patricia Groenewald. She is the student representative of the South African Archaeological Student Society. And to just give a quick review of her biographical details, Patricia is a PhD candidate in the Department of Archaeology at the University of Cape Town, where she has also completed her BSc Honours. She received her undergraduate education through the University of South Africa, and in 2018, she completed her MSc in Archaeological Science at Durham University in the UK. So her research interests include bioarchaeology, specifically using isotopes to reconstruct the life histories of individuals, paleoarchaeology, including the use of isotopes in understanding past diets, climates, and environmental habitats, geoarchaeology, especially archaeological soil, micromorphology, and materials analysis. So she is currently a member of the South African Archaeological Society, and like I mentioned, co-opted as the student representative on the council there. So Patricia, thank you very much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you. So Patricia is going to tell us a bit more about the society and their activities, with particular reference to student initiatives by the society and hopefully motivating more students to join. So Patricia, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mariette. Let's take the share screen. Okay. So as Mariette said, I'm the student member of the Archaeological Society of South Africa. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is what the society is and why do we belong, and tell you about some of the student initiatives that we have, and then also give you a bit of information about membership so that you know how to join and what's involved in joining. So the Archaeological Society of South Africa, it's a bit self-explanatory. We're archaeologists and we love digging in the ground or finding out more about our past. So in the picture on the slide, I'm excavating in Botswana with some of the previous students from the University of Botswana. And we're looking at an Iron Age furnace over there. And so what we'd like to do with the society is really get students to engage with other students from different universities around Southern Africa. So, I mean, we have Botswana, Zimbabwe, a lot of archaeology in the surrounding neighboring countries, Lesotho, Swaziland, and so on. And so it'd be great to really get involvement from a lot of different universities. And some of the things that we've been doing as a society this year is to, with 2020, obviously we had the COVID pandemic. And so we had to go virtual. What would normally happen is that the societies would meet at different branches. So for example, in the Western Cape, we meet in Cape Town, and then you have a lecture and it's all in person and you get to meet the other members of the society. And the society isn't just for academics, it's for the general public to be able to learn more and engage with archaeology and the research that's been done in South Africa and in the broader archaeological community. And so with 2020, it actually provided quite a good opportunity with becoming more virtual, in that we were able to then explore options like having YouTube presentations, and there were very popular talks from specialists, and they're still going on this year because we haven't been able to meet in person yet. And it's actually allowed for a much bigger audience than we would usually get, which is fantastic. A new bulletin cover was also put together, as you can see. And then we also have the sort of more informal publication of the digging stick. And so that's targeted at people who don't necessarily have an academic understanding of archaeology, but like to learn more about it. And so the articles are written in a sort of a simpler way. And then we are also on Facebook. So lots of different ways to keep up with the news of the Archaeological Society. And one of the other initiatives that happened last year was in the 75th year of the Society, we celebrated by creating some student membership prizes. And so we asked the universities from all around Southern Africa to send in the names of the students who they felt were the most enthusiastic students in their year. Who were majoring in archaeology. And so we got responses from 6 different universities. And it's really great to have these students involved in the society and engaging, asking questions. You know, how do I improve my CV to get a job in heritage, things like that. So it's really great to have these 6 students as part of the society this year. And so how are students able to get involved? I sort of think of it as picking up the trowel, because we have the kind of the generation from 1945 when the Archaeological Society was first started. Things have obviously changed. Ideas have changed. We've gone through sort of, you know, different ways of thinking about archaeology and what it means for our community. And so as students, we're taking these new ideas forward, and how do we engage with South Africans, and how do we better get information about archaeology out to the public. And so something that students can get involved in, for example, is starting a journal club in their university departments. So we did have one at UCT, and we're going to start another one up for isotopes journals. But within your own department, you can look for ways to start up a journal club. And if you have any questions about ideas or how to set that up, you're welcome to get in touch with me, and I can maybe give you some ideas and suggestions. Another way is to do elevator presentations. So this is an idea that I have where students submit sort of 3-minute video of them talking about the research, and then we post that on Facebook that people can get to see what students are involved in. Another idea is fun social media competitions. So there are ways to create online word searches and crosswords and things like that. And then fun competitions, like I'm also part of the Spider Club of Southern Africa's website, Facebook page. And they had a competition recently for winter spider drawings. So it could be a fun idea just to do something like that on sharing on Facebook, and just, again, getting information out to the public about what archaeology is really about. And then another way is online seminars. At UCT, we have lunchtime seminars every Monday, and they're quite popular. We have about 18 participants every week. And so, yeah, again, the university departments, if you're in the archaeology department and you would like to get more engagement from specialist archaeologists, they often are very happy to talk about their research, and it's a way to, again, get a networking, and you get to meet these specialists. And sometimes you can learn about job opportunities and things like that through these seminars, and then also just increasing your knowledge about the different kind of aspects of archaeology. For example, yesterday we had a great lecture by Judith Seeley on using zooms to differentiate between sheep and wild animals in terms of like springbok and things like that, to better understand early domestication in Southern Africa. And then we also have outings with the society, depending on the restrictions, obviously. We can't get a big group together at the moment, but when we are able to go out, definitely some ideas for outings. For example, going to the West Coast Fossil Park and maybe spending a weekend out there and learning about sorting and what happens at the West Coast Fossil Park. And then there's also outreach to schools. So the picture on the slide is quite an old one from when I still worked at the West Coast Fossil Park. I went to the local school and I said to the headmaster, I'd like to offer the students an opportunity to win a book from the West Coast Fossil Park. And so what we did is we engaged, I think it was the grade 4 learners, and all of them colored in a picture of the African bear, which was found at the West Coast Fossil Park. So I just made a simple outline, they colored it in, and then I made a postcard, and the main image is the winning image, and then I made a border of little pictures that were colored in by the other students. And those postcards are still being sold in the curio shop at the moment, so they seem to be quite popular. And we were able to then engage with the students about the fossil park that's right on their doorstep, and the animals that used to live there approximately 5 million years ago. So again, a great way to engage with the school children. So what does membership involve? If you're younger than 25, you're in the junior category, and so a membership per year is 230 Rand. Joint or family, you get a bit of a discount. It's 355 Rand. Ordinary member for South African is 335. Ordinary member for Africa is 395. And if you're an overseas member, it's a bit more expensive, 710 Rand plus bank charges. And the website is available there. If you visit www.archaeology.org.za, it's very easy to find where you can apply for membership to the society. So membership benefits include that you belong to the branch closest to you. And so there are 4 branches. And so it's the Northern branch, the KwaZulu-Natal branch. I'm afraid I'm going to struggle to pronounce the I think it's Garib branch, if I have it right, and then the Western Cape branch. And so they often organize their own lectures, and the Western Cape lectures are currently online and available to everyone from the website. And then some of the branches also organize overseas tours to places of archaeological interest. And you can also get a password to access journals from JSTOR if you haven't already got it via your university. The members receive all the society's publications as part of their annual subscription. So as I said, the Digging Stick is that informal magazine, which just gives sort of a layman's version of the interesting research that's taking place in South Africa. And then we have the South African Archaeological Bulletin. It's just published twice a year, very high standard. And in the volumes in the Goodwin series are published occasionally, as I said, when funds permit. And if I look at other societies, overseas societies, for example, I'm part of the European Archaeological Association, and their membership fees are sort of £60 for a year as a student. So only paying 300 odd Rand is really not bad for everything that you get as a member of the Archaeological Society. And you get to network with awesome people that are really doing amazing research, which is a great way to build your skills in that. And so, yeah, and then I'd also like to ask that you feel free to share your ideas with us if you are a student and you'd like to get more involved in the society, or if you're in your department and you're like, hey, I've got this great idea that we can, get more students involved in what we do as a society and that, please feel free to contact me. My email address is on the slide there. And there are also the different Facebook pages that you can look at. And then there's the archaeology.org.za as the normal website. So yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Patricia, for that informative session. I'm really glad to see that the society is kind of expanding its activities to include more and more students, and also to reach out more to members of the public. I do know that the society has always been one that welcomes both the academic community and members of the public. Myself, coming from a public archaeology, especially public participation archaeology environment, I'm very passionate about sharing archaeological knowledge and experiences with members of the public. So what then, in your opinion, do you think is the value of societies such as the South African Archaeological Society within archaeological information and knowledge dissemination in South Africa and its neighboring countries?
So I think it plays a big role in terms of It's an informal environment where students can feel free to share their ideas without necessarily being judged in an academic, kind of really high academic standard. So if you want to just engage and say, hey, I'm doing this very cool project, and see what community feeling is around it, it's a fantastic way to just engage with members of, or with people who aren't necessarily archaeologists as well. But at the same time, there are specialist archaeologists and experts who are doing archaeology who are part of the society. And so they can also give tips and advice and say, you know, you did this presentation for the society on your research, maybe consider putting it this way, or maybe it was a bit too technical and you could have simplified it to make it more understandable. And I think if you look at archaeology in South Africa, we have a very rich archaeological heritage, and with developments in the new kind of EIAs and heritage laws that we have, they're all very well and good, but if the community where development is happening doesn't understand what archaeology is about and why an archaeologist needs to be there, or even the people doing the development, if they don't understand why an archaeologist needs to be there, then they're not interested and they just want to get on with their work, they just want to get on with their lives, and they don't see eye to eye with what the archaeologist is necessarily doing or trying to find out. And so being able to pass on your knowledge to people is a very important skill. And that's something that I think the archaeology, that the society is a very good platform for doing. And I mean, I've met so many people in the local area, school children, things like that, who don't know an archaeologist, for example, and but they may be very interested in, they hear about Egypt and they hear about the Roman excavations happening in the UK or something like that, not realizing that we actually have a lot of archaeology in South Africa. And then in terms of students, I think the universities, sometimes we can maybe silo ourselves a little bit. And so I don't necessarily know what students at WITS are doing, or students at UKZN, or students at Solfliki and things like that. So having students part of the society and being able to share ideas, we then say, hey, you know, we've got this project in the Northern Cape, but maybe we can actually work with you because at UCT we have this project in the Northern Cape, but can we do more with the students who are actually at Solfliki? And the other thing, yeah. So, and where the different students are. And then also in terms of like a student from Zimbabwe or student from Botswana or student from Namibia, I think they kind of get isolated in their little communities. And so being able to reach out and say, hey, we know your archaeology is amazing. Can you share it with South Africa as well? And we can really build networks and strengthen the research that's happening in Southern Africa.
Definitely. Josh, Mpumi, any of you have any questions?
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Patricia, for your presentation. I'd like to speak on something that you're just mentioning now, because you're talking about how you're looking forward to strengthen ties between different countries. And I wanted to know, would students be able to join ARCSOC if they were from Zimbabwe or from Mozambique or Angola? Would they be able to join ARCSOC?
So we, how that works is, so basically at the moment how we do it, I think they join the branch that's closest to their country. So I think it's generally the northern branch, if I have it right. I would have to just double check with the secretary. But they join a branch in South Africa at the moment because there isn't a branch in those countries. If we could kind of get more interest, then maybe there could be a local branch in Zimbabwe, and we might need to consider changing the name of the society. But at the moment, yes, it is possible for them to join. But then they just, I mean, even someone in England can be a member of the society. They're just then paying international fees. But someone from Africa would then pay the African fee. So that's, yeah, it is doable. In terms of taking part in the outings and things like that, obviously they wouldn't necessarily be able to take part in a Western Cape branch outing. But with the lectures going online now, it's become much more possible for them to engage in these virtual environments. And then hopefully, I mean, with the pandemic, if it starts lessening, vaccines start working, things like that, then we could maybe arrange outings to some of their local heritage sites and engage more in that way.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cool. Josh, do you have a question?
Not necessarily. I just want to thank Patricia for giving this presentation. I'm sure that there are some students out there who didn't know about South African Archaeological Society. So I think this will encourage other students to join the organization as well and benefit from all the discussions that happen in the society. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patricia, I think just one last question from my side. Do you have any events, of course, all COVID restrictions kept in mind, do you have any events that students should look out for in the near future that they can participate in that's being organized by the society?
So we're busy planning, we're busy working on a plan, but maybe later in the year, August, September, I am thinking of doing weekends, still in the pipeline. But definitely something is in the pipeline, and we will send out more information as things get more solidified. Yeah.
Okay, great stuff. Well, thank you very much for this information session. To the students tuning in today, remember that we usually have an activity assigned to each presentation. So instead of a pop quiz, because this was more of an information session than an actual lecture, we have a different activity for you with quite exciting prospects. So I'm just going to ask Patricia to give us some more details on that.
So what we would like you to do as a student is to write a less than 250 word paragraph. So it's not a lot of writing. And we just want you to tell us how you feel you would benefit from a 3 years membership of the South African Archaeological Society. So we're going to kind of go through all the entries and have a judge panel of the Archaeological Society Council, and the winner that we pick will then win a 3 year as a member of the South African Archaeological Society. So we really look forward to reading your entries. I'm sure you're going to get some really good ones.
That is a really great prize to look forward to, especially considering all the membership benefits that you listed earlier on. So to the students, remember that you'll be able to submit that paragraph to us via the Clickle. Where's my language today? You see, Mpumi, it's because I was teasing you about your little slip-ups that I'm doing slip-ups today. Blender Sambok, right? So there will be on the ClickUp portal, there will be an opportunity for you to submit that short little 250 word write-up to us. And then once again, Patricia, thank you so much for joining us today. And we really hope that students will grab hold of this opportunity and become members of the society, because obviously there's a lot of benefits in terms of connecting students from different universities and, the different opportunities that are available through the society. And I think a lot of the goals and objectives that we have in terms of student activity and student engagement overlaps a lot with what we're doing with the Southern African Archaeological Student Council and the Student Society. So yes, looking forward also to future collaboration work. And thank you once again. Thanks everyone, my fellow council members also for being here today. Everyone must have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.